And after that, I will be making a presentation on Maple Canadian College. After that, we'll have a virtual tour of the Maple Canadian College facilities. And after that, we'll have questions and answers. So the first item on the program for today is the welcome speech by our beautiful and amiable president, Mrs. Ebi Obaro. Mrs. Obaro, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Abimbola, for the introduction. My name is Ebi Obaro. I'm the president and founder of Maple Canadian College in Lagos, Nigeria. My experience with Canadian education started in 1997, 23 years ago, when my family of 7 migrated to Canada to seek world-class education for our 5 children. Today, I'm proud to say that they all excelled in their chosen career. And in 2001, I came back to Nigeria to start a Canadian company called Maple Education Canada, where we recruit students into Canadian institutions, high schools, colleges, and universities, and we have over 65 partners. Our sister company, Worldwide Education, has partnership with universities from the UK, Australia, US, Russia, Ukraine, Germany, Belgium, and other countries. In 2019, Maple Canadian College was established as a university college pathway program offering grades 11 and 12 courses to bridge the gap between the Nigerian high school curriculum and the Canadian curriculum. We partnered with Rosedale Academy to make this possible. We have just successfully graduated our first set of students in June 2020, despite the pandemic. 100% of them got into some top universities in Canada and in the UK. Today we have with us Mrs. Abimbola Adekunle, who is the administrative manager. She's going to talk about the college. Mr. Raylon Nazareth, the senior manager, global education partner, Rosedale Academy, Toronto, Canada. And then we have Mr. Stuart Rennie, is a representative of Canada's capital university, Carleton University. By the way, my 3 daughters went to Carleton. He's going to talk to us about how our students got into Carleton University with academic entrance scholarship. So I hope that today you have a good experience. You get to know about our college. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Over to you, Abimbola.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Obaro. Next, we have the presentation by Mr. Raylon Nazareth, the Senior Manager, Global Education Partnerships of Rosedale Academy, our Canadian partners, who will be talking to us about the Global University Pathway Program with emphasis on the Ontario Secondary School Diploma.
Thank you very much, Ms. Abimbola. Greatly appreciated. I hope everybody can hear me just fine. My name is Raylon Nazareth. It's a great honor to be here at this virtual open house. I wish it was at the physical open house, but obviously due to the pandemic, we have to be creative with what we do today. So the one positive thing about this is that we are able to connect virtually from the comforts of your home. So thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday to be with us today. Greatly appreciated. I have a short presentation, short but informative presentation to cover everything you need to know about the Ontario secondary education system, as well as what we offer in partnership with Maple Canadian College. Hope everybody can see the screen well. Excellent. So a little bit about Rosedale, well, first a little bit about myself, actually. Prior to joining Rosedale Academy, I used to work in recruitment and admissions at the University of Waterloo. It was through that position, actually, that I came across Rosedale Academy and decided to join Rosedale Academy. And our first project ever with Rosedale Academy was with the government of Ecuador to provide online courses to students in certain parts of the country that didn't have access to quality private education. And from there on, I wanted to be a part of the Rosedale mission to bring Canadian education around the world and find partners that provide quality education in their countries, such as Maple Canadian College, to make that happen. We at Rosedale Academy are headquartered in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We are a private secondary school inspected by the Ontario Ministry of Education. And we have 40 partner schools worldwide that deliver our programming in partnership. And we specialize in two things, something I really want to highlight to everyone. One is obviously the Canadian secondary school portion, the ability to get an Ontario secondary school diploma at Maple Canadian College with Rosedale Academy. But the other thing is the 21st century e-learning education technology. And that is something that we have been investing in from years ago, way before this pandemic, but it's really been tested during this pandemic. And the teachers have had to use that platform very creatively to engage students continuously. We live in a situation now where I think parents on this open house can relate that it's not easy to homeschool a child online, especially when you have a job and you have other things to do. Our platform has made courses engaging and meaningful for students so that they're continuously learning throughout their study process. And I'll show you a little bit more about what exactly that means. But when we talk about Rosedale Academy, we're the global Canadian high school, and we specialize in two things, and that is offering you a secondary diploma, as well as that 21st century e-learning education technology. But what about our partners at Maple? What goes into finding a great partner around the world? With Maple Canadian College, it's really quite simple. It's as simple as the line you see here, bringing quality Canadian secondary education to Lagos, Nigeria. I think you just heard that speech earlier from Mrs. Sabaro about her experience with Canada, the number of years that she's been working with students to go to Canada as well as families. And that's what we're looking for at Rosedale Academy. Not just a school that can provide education, but a school that understands Canada, that cares about Canada as a destination and feels that it can make a difference in their country. And what that partnership includes is we provide excellent teacher training for teachers in Nigeria to deliver our curriculum. Maple Canadian College brings those great teachers. They've been very selective in the teachers that they choose that can really engage with the students and change their mindset in terms of all the experience they have, but deliver high quality curriculum according to the Canadian style. Modern classroom facilities. Boy, how I wish this open house was at the actual MCC college, because it is a beautiful state-of-the-art facility. And I encourage you to book an independent appointment, go in there, check it out for yourself. Seeing is believing, as well as excellent university and career counseling. As Mrs. Sabaro said, more than 65 partnerships and counting worldwide with some of the top universities around the world. They understand institutions, they know what's needed. And if they didn't know what's needed, they wouldn't have this Canadian secondary program in Nigeria to help students bridge that gap. But what exactly is that Ontario Secondary School Diploma? What's unique about it? What's special? First and foremost, it is an internationally recognized Canadian curriculum. It stands neck and neck with the Cambridge, as well as any other curriculum such as the WIAC or IB, if you're looking to study abroad or even stay in Nigeria. It's considered one of the world's top 5 education programs based on evaluations from the Program for International Student Assessment, part of the OECD. And that's a triennial assessment that happens every 3 years to assess the quality of education worldwide by participating countries, and Canada is one of them. And Ontario students score very high when it comes to math and English. And we're very proud of that. So what we like at Rosedale Academy is the diverse curriculum and differentiated education it brings. And we pair that with our partner at MCC to provide system-level support for you in Nigeria, as well as high-quality student success services. And what exactly am I talking about? I have a lot of parents around the world that say, okay, but my child's been, there's so many Cambridge schools. I've never heard of this OSSD option. Why should I look at that? Why should I consider that? They're both great curriculums, but I want to really emphasize and show you the differences here. Your child could choose to study in any sort of curriculum that they want to, and they're going to get them to that destination. But the question is, what's best in terms of the way your child learns? When we look at the OSSD, the Ontario Secondary School Diploma, it's a very flexible process of education. There are a lot of assessments and opportunities for students to learn and engage with the material. We look at having a variety of different assessments to meet the different needs of students so that they're able to actually understand what they need to understand. And we have a strong focus on skills and thinking, specifically higher order thinking skills. Let's just face it, we're in the 21st century today. We have access to all the information we need directly on our phones and our computers. What do we do with that information? What do we make happen? I'll give you the best example. We have access to great information in terms of universities around the world. But what kind of service are we giving? How are we supporting students in understanding the differences of those institutions? And that goes into higher order thinking skills, which is what we emphasize. And all of our grading is based on rubrics as well as a checklist to make sure that students are seeing the criteria that they have to meet. This is a very different way of learning from either the WIAC curriculum or the Cambridge A-level curriculum. In those curriculums, you're doing a lot of coursework, you're doing a lot of practice, but everything is based on your final exam. So really you have one shot, and usually those exams are worth about 70% of your final mark. And that can be quite daunting. In fact, this year, just recently in the past couple of weeks, we've seen that the WIAC has been canceled. And that is a problem for a lot of parents and students now, because they were really counting on that exam to kind of finalize their child's score. So a program like the OSSD at Maple Canadian College, all of our students have graduated on time. All of them will be starting university in September, and all of them are progressing with their education path. And these are those areas of focus at Rosedale Academy that we really focus on in terms of essential skills. Those higher order thinking skills such as problem solving, evaluating, creating, academic skills, which is natural that you expect in any curriculum. So yes, you will have high mathematical skills, research skills, and presentation skills, and learning skills, of course. This is a pre-university program. So when your child goes to university, they're not going to be in a small class of 25 or 30. They're going to be in a large university environment. They need to be able to work independently, collaborate with people that they don't know from all around the world, and they need to be able to manage their time. We will teach you that through our program at Maple Canadian College. And when I talked about multimedia during the pandemic, every school this year was forced to go online. And every school this year tends to feel that they're experts in online education. But what does that really mean? For most schools, it comes down to basically using a platform such as Google Classrooms, the teachers teaching live on Zoom, and uploading assignments for students to complete. At MCC, it's something completely different. At MCC, it's about incorporating virtual labs so that if students don't have access to that state-of-the-art chemistry or biology lab that's in MCC, they can do that at home and follow the experiments. Collaborative activities so that they're constantly engaging with their classmates and not just at home independently working on a project. They are interacting and working on projects together. Videos to engage them with all of their learning that's happening and making them think in different ways. Case studies that really challenge them and bring a practical component to what they're learning. When I was a student, there was always that one person in class that would say, "Why am I learning this? What am I going to do with this in real life?" And the teacher would just stand there and stare at the student and not really know how to put it. They'd be bamboozled. We're going to bring that practical component so that everything a student learns, they see how that's applied in a real life situation. Simulations to engage the students, get them thinking and understanding how exactly formulas work. So after they have that live class online or in MCC with their teacher on a math formula, they have something to go back to and refer to really understand how a formula could work, for example. Games are very popular, sometimes for bad reasons in terms of being distracted. We incorporate games into learning. So there's lots of games throughout our courses to make sure that students can understand and learn the content and retain the content in a very fun way. Discussion forums as well for students to engage. And the beauty of this is you notice that I said we have over 40 partners worldwide. So our students are not just engaging with their fellow Nigerian students at MCC, they're also engaging with students around the world. And that's that global community that we want to bring together here in Lagos. And of course, presentations to really engage students and have them continuously learning. That's what we do when it comes to blended learning at MCC. And that is the difference between studying at MCC and studying at another school as far as online learning during a pandemic is concerned. These are the variety of courses that are offered, and I think you'll go into more detail when you see the MCC presentation. But to really focus in on, each course is 110 hours long of curriculum. Each course is valued in 100 percentage points, and 70% of your assessments is the value. 70% is the value of your assessments, and 30% is the value of your final exam. That is completely different from a Cambridge model, where 30% is your coursework and 70% is your final exam. And of course, we do review your previous high school transcripts, so you could transfer in from SS2 or SS3. If you haven't completed your SS3 yet, that's fine. You can transfer into our grade 12 program. If you have the WIAC, you can transfer in as well, or you can continue on your studies. So very flexible entry points where we recognize your previous diploma as well. And this is really what it boils down to. This statement means a lot to me, and it's really something that I like to hone into to parents. I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. And that's the MCC story. Doing is learning. You're going to be doing a lot of work in this program and continuously learning in terms of your activities. And that's the Ontario curriculum in a nutshell. But what does that mean for you? For you, it means that you will attend Maple Canadian College as an Ontario student. You'll receive an Ontario education number, an Ontario student record. You'll also have an Ontario report card from Rosedale Academy. And there's the official Ontario student transcript and OSSD diploma that goes from Rosedale Academy directly to your university, such as Carleton. This is a sample of the Ontario student transcript that students receive from Rosedale Academy if they choose to study at MCC. And this is a sample of what the Ontario secondary school diploma looks like. And that's awarded by the Ontario Ministry of Education. In terms of the pathway education plan, we really like to ask students what they want to study in university. Maybe they want to study business or engineering or social science. And then we come up with a grouping of courses, at least 6, but usually 7 to 8 courses that the students would take over 10 months. They can receive pre-admission to their partner institute, to MCC partner institutions. And you'll also write the Ontario literacy test and complete 10 hours of community leadership service. And you'll be able to receive your OSSD to apply to, of course, Canadian universities, but most importantly, global universities around the world. And these are the different types of students that can enter the program at MCC. So you'll see here I listed IGCSE graduates, students in the AS or A level, of course, WIAC students, SS2, SS3, even OSSD students. We've had a number of students from Nigeria that are currently in Canada at an Ontario high school going back to Nigeria. So you can definitely transfer into this program and continue at MCC before going back abroad. So it's another option as well that's available to you. And this is that unique university application model when you apply to universities around the world. First and foremost, universities will look at your top 6 preparation courses that are required. Let's say, for example, I wanted to study engineering, or let's say I wanted to study business, actually, a BBA program. I would take an English course, an advanced functions course, a calculus and vectors course, as well as I might choose to take electives in data management, business leadership, and international business. In each course, there are 15 assessments, such as a research report, case studies, and they're all valued at a total of 70%. That's what forms 70% of my grade. And my final exam is worth 30%. We call this a progressive evaluation model, that as you progress through a course, you are consistently and continuously evaluated. The biggest complaint that students have about that is that there's so much work to do, but it's also the best part about it because they're continuously learning and they really are treated like students. And as far as that global admission advantage is concerned, there are a lot of places you can apply to. But if you apply to Canada, the great benefit of that is that you have the ability to apply as a local applicant, where you'd have access to international scholarships as well as domestic entrance scholarships with an OSSD. The one thing I do want to mention, though, is that if you're not a Canadian citizen or not a permanent resident, you don't have access to domestic fees. It's just international student fees. If you apply to the UK or Australia, you don't have to do an expensive foundation program abroad, and you don't have to do a long two-year A-level program either. And it's quite rare for these universities to have an OSSD, so the admission happens much faster. As far as the United States is concerned, many universities do not require an SAT or assessment with OSSD students. Of course, if you were to tell us that you wanted to apply to a university like Harvard, it's in your best interest to do that SAT because of the competition in terms of getting admission. And if you choose to go to an emerging place such as Singapore or Malaysia, which is very popular now, you won't have to submit an IELTS or TOEFL in place of our English 4U course. And these are some examples of top-tier universities around the world that accept the OSSD. For example, you can go on the University of Oxford's website and look up the OSSD admission requirements for your child to give you a very clear understanding that it is globally accepted and you can apply anywhere with it. So when MCC says start here, go anywhere, they really do mean it as far as university admission is concerned. And here's a little bit of an example of the Rosedale story. So this program has celebrated 1 year at MCC. We've had a great group of students that are going on to excellent universities. But Rosedale has been doing this with a number of partners worldwide. So we have a very strong reputation internationally with our students that apply. And these are some of the universities worldwide that have accepted and admitted our students. 96% of our grads have gotten into top 100 universities around the world. And our students receive an average of 4.6 offers of admission. This is something we're very proud of and something we hope to continue to do and excel at with MCC in Nigeria. So as far as why choose a Rosedale program at MCC, it's very important to research who is the high school provider, the OSSD partner for your school in Nigeria. And as far as Rosedale is concerned, we have proven year over year with all of our partners worldwide that students are able to access great universities in Canada, the US, and the UK. You're going to be applying with an Ontario secondary school diploma using the grades in those courses as opposed to a final exam such as the WIAC or the Cambridge. So this is a great opportunity to come into a program like this. You'll have access to a top-notch curriculum that's been prepared for university entry. And of course, at MCC, you'll have that immersive learning experience. There's a wonderful video I watched earlier where a parent says, it's like a mini Canada in Nigeria, and it doesn't get much better than that as far as the MCC experience is concerned. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you all for your time, and of course, I'm looking forward to the Q&A session later on. I'd like to pass it on to Mrs. Abimbola. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nazareth, for that very informative session. Next, we have another presentation by Mr. Stuart Rennie, the consultant for West Africa, Carleton University. His presentation will be on the admission process in Carleton University. You're welcome, Mr. Rennie.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, to Abimbola, to Ibi, and also to Emeka for setting this session up today. I'm just going to share my screen with you, so if you just bear with me. Okay, I'm just going to pause that just now. So, welcome everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to get the opportunity to be speaking to you. Obviously, the team over at MCC, at Maple Education, and I think you've got an excellent grounding presentation from Ralon and the importance of the relationship with Rosedale Academy and how the OSSD qualification works over at MCC. To give you a little bit of background about who I am, and I suppose maybe a little bit to explain my accent and why I don't have a Canadian accent, I'm based in Scotland, as you can probably tell from my accent. I've been working in Nigeria for over 20 years now, and I started my work at Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen. And I spent a lot of time working on executive training and working with major scholarship bodies and also oil and gas companies right across Nigeria. We were involved in the early days of working with the Shell PTDF training project down in Port Harcourt. So that was my kind of introduction to Nigeria a long time ago. I've worked with EB and the team now for over 8 years. At Maple Education. In fact, I saw the college being built, and I remember walking through the college with EB as it was being built down in Ikoyi, and to go back and see the students there, see the new principal in place, see the classrooms, the learning experience, and of course that fantastic view from the top garden looking out across the sea down to the Bar Beach area at the bottom of Victoria Island is something really special. For me, it sets the quality of the vision that EB has created, the quality, but also, I guess, the partnership with Rosedale, the quality that everything throughout the process is looking to do. I've worked with many schools across Nigeria, private, public, pathway colleges, and without question, for my travels around Nigeria, whether that's Abuja, whether it's Lagos, Kaduna, Uyo, Calabar, Port Harcourt, there's no doubt that walking into the Maple College, to MCC, I'm sure as many of you have already seen, I could be anywhere in the world. I could be in Toronto, I could be in Ottawa, I could be in my home country of Scotland. So I think it's a fantastic offering, a fantastic product, and a great environment for your child to study in these challenging times that we've all been going through over the past 3 months. I mean, I think I'm a parent myself. I have 3 children, much younger than EB's, but I'm beginning to think forward to what university education might look like for them in 10, 12 years' time. And I think for me, like any other parent, I would be looking at quality, safety, security, and also global options and opportunities. And I think Ralan put a fantastic slide up there at the end in terms of the partnership with Rosedale, the type of universities that students who have done the OSSD qualification at Maple can go on to do. And of course, we'll go on to talk about the university that I work for, Carleton, in a moment. But I saw some fantastic universities up there. As a global consultant, I work right across the world. So I do a lot of work in Canada, working with Carleton University. But also I saw Queen's Belfast was up there as well, and they're one of the top-ranked Russell Group UK universities, and that's also a university we do some work with as well. So, without further ado, let's talk about Carleton. Carleton University has been working in Nigeria now for over 10 years. We've developed very strong links with leading schools and pathway colleges across Nigeria. Every year, we have about 60 to 70 new students from Nigeria progressing to Carleton University every year. And of course, we look at the pathway programs, and OSSD, absolutely one of the key qualifications, being in Ontario, for what we accept. So I've got a short presentation that we're just going to run through, which will hopefully just give you an introduction to Carleton, to Ottawa, and to the opportunities that are available. What I would say as well, for students who have not, most of you will have applied, most of you will have your offer for this year. However, if there are still parents and students out there who are still looking to make that final decision or commitment for this September, then we do still have places available. What I do just want to say in terms of reassurance, and I think this is important, around the current pandemic, the COVID situation, when I look at all of the, suppose, Western-speaking countries or English-speaking countries, Australia, Canada, the US, the UK, and I can look at it from a completely independent angle. I think the way that Canada has dealt with the pandemic, the way it's addressed it, the support it's put in place for international students.
With the charger.
Sorry, just bear with me. My screen has I just want to share my presentation, but it seems to have just dropped off. So 2 seconds, just bear with me. Just going to pull that back up. Okay, so there we go. Can you all still see my screen okay? Is that sharing okay? The technology seems to be dropping out a little bit here.
Mr. Rennie,
Oh.
we can't see your screen.
Okay, let me show. I think the screen has just dropped back out. Just bear with me, let me pull it up, and then I will go back in and share that with you again. So Let me just pull that up for you. And share that again. Sorry, the sharing just dropped there. So, can you see that okay now? Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay, great. So, introduction to Carleton University. Let's introduce the university to you. So the building you can see there, obviously the capital city of Ottawa, where the seat of government is based. And obviously a lot of students choose Carleton University. It's a public university in Canada. It's one of the top ranked universities in Canada. It's a one campus site. But the great thing about studying in Ottawa is you are in the capital city, so you have all the embassies, you have all the key research that's going on in Canada, but you've also got the great space and the outdoors, and I think that's really important. So for any parents who are concerned about how their child will be looked after, what are going to be the opportunities, Carleton is beginning to move back onto campus, and will continue to do that as it's safe to do so. But there's plenty space, plenty countryside on your doorstep, and there's a campus there, everything self-contained, 10 minutes from downtown Ottawa, travelling by train. Lots of opportunities on the doorstep. So a quick kind of geography lesson for those of you who have not travelled to Canada or have not been to Canada before. Ottawa, obviously the capital city of Canada and located in the state of Ontario. Very close to Toronto, you're not far from Montreal, and you can also access the likes of New York and Boston as well. So a very well placed university. And also one of the key things when you're thinking about studying in Canada is, of course, the work opportunities that come with that. So the majority of students, having studied for over 1 year in Canada, and if you're coming to do your undergraduate degree, you're looking at 4-year degree programs, you've got the opportunity of securing a post-study work visa. But more importantly, the majority of Canadian universities, and Carleton is a real leader in Canada around this space, is the co-op opportunities. So the chance to pick up work experience, working, could be working for the World Bank of Canada, could be working for Microsoft, could be working for BlackBerry, could be working for Starbucks. So many opportunities to, as part of your program, be out working in a company, delivering a live project, earning money for that. But more importantly, when you graduate, you have a reference point. You've got some great working experience. And whether you choose to stay in Canada, whether you go back to Nigeria, or whether you end up working elsewhere in the world, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Australia, wherever that might be, that combination of your OSSD school qualification, studied at Maple College, along with your undergraduate degree from Carleton University is going to be recognised. You'll be able to live and work in any part of the world. And apart from anything else, Canada has got so much open space. So in terms of social distancing or having a very healthy, safe life in Canada, plenty of opportunities to be able to do that. I love this picture because it just gives a really strong visual of Ottawa. What you can see in the foreground here is the full campus. So whatever course you're studying, whatever subject you're studying, whether it's the engineering, the arts, the commerce, economics, media, architecture, journalism, 2 really strong programs at Carleton. Everything is taught on this campus. Your sport is there. Accommodation is guaranteed in year 1. Now, I'm going to preempt some questions that I think might come up in Q&A. And one of the first questions I always get asked by students and parents, looks beautiful, Canada looks a fantastic country, but tell me, in the winter, how does my child survive when the snow comes and it becomes cold? It's like me when I come out to Nigeria, when it's 33, 34 degrees, it's hot and humid and the air conditioning's on, you get used to it. But the country adapts around that. So this whole area you can see on the campus at Carleton, underground, under all of these buildings is a network of underground tunnels. So 5 kilometres of underground tunnels. So in the winter, when the snow comes, if a student is feeling the cold, they don't even need to leave their buildings. They can wake up in their accommodation, they can go for their breakfast in these underground tunnels, they can go and take part in their sport, they can go to their lectures, to their seminars without ever leaving. The other thing I would say though is, you've got the opportunity to embrace new things. So as part of your academic journey, moving from MCC, doing the OSSD, yes, choosing a quality university like Carleton, coming out with a strong degree, part of the experience for studying overseas, oops, there we go. Part of the experience of studying overseas is choosing a university. Why have I got my, what's going on here? Sorry, I think it's come up with it, it's picking up on my mic. So part of the experience is choosing a university where there's going to be an international population. So you'll meet people from all over the world. They will be part of your peer group going forward. And it's about trying things that you have never normally done. So it could be ice skating, for example. It could be winter skiing, cross-country skiing. Studying in Ottawa, it's a high-tech sector. A lot of the international research that takes place across Canada takes place in the Ontario region and also around the Ottawa area as well. So a lot of government and non-governmental agencies, including the life sciences and also the research facilities, are based there as well. So at Carleton, you've got a large number of major programs that you can be focusing on, over 22 degree programs. As I've already mentioned, real specialisms in the likes of architectural studies, journalism, but we cover all areas of engineering apart from the likes of oil and gas engineering. We've already seen a number of students coming in to study the likes of economics, and with Carleton being in the capital city of Canada, you would expect them to focus on kind of international relations, global studies, public affairs and policy management, and that's exactly what Carleton do. One of the oldest journalism schools in Canada. What I think Carleton is very strong at is developing hybrid programs. So actually understanding what the skills gap is in Canada and also in overseas countries. So with all the work that we do in Nigeria, we've got a very strong African studies department, and we're constantly focusing on what is driving the economies in Africa, what are going to be the skills that you will need as students of the future, and ensuring that our programs don't stand still on a yearly basis, but we go back, we evolve, we develop them to ensure that the skills you're coming out with are going to make you employable, which is why Carleton is a leading university in Canada for not only the academic quality, but you have skills that industry is actually looking for. Strong lab-based health centre, and I think this is really important with the current pandemic that's going on. It's actually the only immunology lab in Canada. So at the kind of cutting edge and forefront of immunology and kind of lab-based health research areas. And as we know, health, public health, those areas are going to be growing areas for students from the kind of science background going forward. So a real cutting edge university for those types of programs. So for those of you who are into your business with that entrepreneurial spirit, maybe you're looking to set up your own company, just like Evie's done with MCC College, that entrepreneurial vision to envisage what future students will be looking for. That's what we try and do at the Sprott Business School. So this is a brand new building. It was being constructed when I was over in Ottawa last September, and it will be ready for new students starting this September. So cutting edge building, cutting edge entrepreneurial business school focusing on commerce, and of course looking to achieve the highest levels of international accreditation. And there's one example around the AACSB accreditation as well. So for those of you doing business, a brand new business school to be going into this year. And actually, they've just appointed a dean whose background is from Oxford University in the UK and has also worked at De Montfort University as well. So bringing some of that kind of UK business school expertise across to Canada. So a real advantage there as well. We've touched on this a little bit in the political science, international business, with it being the capital city. What Carleton is very strong at is study abroad. So they have relationships with universities in Europe and North America and Asia and across Africa as well, which means that you have the opportunity as a student. It could be a semester abroad, it could be a summer abroad as well. So tuition fees. Important just to kind of run through and give you an idea. It obviously varies from course to course, but you're looking at course fees of around about 27,000 Canadian dollars through to about 36,000. And then we've split it down there to include your kind of living expenses and what an estimated total might be. Worth remembering on your Canadian study permit that you will be able to work up to 20 hours part-time during the week. So that could be on campus, and there's various on-campus jobs, international student ambassadors, working in the restaurants, the cafes, and across the kind of sports hubs at the university. Or you could be working off campus as well. It will probably be a hybrid system until the international air corridors open of you studying online. But for students who have already gone through the OSSD at MCC, you've got great experience of that kind of learning platform, and you can expect the same quality as you progress across the Carleton. And when the time is safe, the international air corridors open, then you will smoothly transition to campus. What's really important, and this has been the Canadian government were very clear about this at a very early stage when other international governments had not made that kind of decision, that any study that's undertaken at home or in Nigeria, online as you begin to start in your one-on-year undergraduate programme, will all count towards your post-study work visa as well. And I think that's really important to know, that any study you start doing in Nigeria will be counted towards that post-study work as well. We've touched on the co-op and the kind of work placement, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But what I am going to talk about, Evie mentioned this right at the very start, was she was delighted. Carleton, those are still there. We're one of the when you apply to Carleton, we'll be looking at your OSSD grades. We might be looking at any WIAC that you've done as well, or any other qualifications. And we will automatically offer as much scholarship, entrance scholarship to you as we can, based on your grades or based on your mock grades to date. Now, that could range from 1,000 to 4,000 Canadian dollars per year. And it's not just an entrance scholarship. So if you're doing a 4-year degree programme, as long as you maintain the grades that you got the entrance scholarship on, then you will get that scholarship rolling across to year 2, year 3, and year 4. So if your grades are at the kind of A level, top percentage, mapped against OSSD, Cambridge, IB, then you could be looking at 16,000 Canadian dollars over 4 years. Even if you're hitting that kind of B mark, equivalency level, you could still be looking at possibly 3,000, 2,000 per year. And that's pushing north of 10, 12, 14,000 Canadian dollars per year. So a very strong scholarship package for entrance at Carleton. Now, the picture I've got up here is a traditional, the current COVID situation. So all of these bedrooms are going to be single study bedrooms right across campus, and international students, Nigerian students, and students from other international countries will obviously get priority. It's a shame in a way, because it's a great experience to share with another student, but you'll still be on campus, you'll still be mixing with them when the time is right to come on board. But all of these rooms will be converted to single study bedrooms. And I think that's important to show you the safety and security of our incoming students and ongoing students, that we want to make sure we create a very safe, welcoming and secure environment for our students to start their studies and also continue their studies then as well. Like many universities, huge amounts of opportunity. Whether you're into sport, fantastic if you are, lots of opportunities, basketball, athletics, swimming, football, soccer, whatever that might be. Or if you're into debating, you're into music, you're into the arts, you're into theatre, you're into cooking, whatever that might be, I can guarantee you there will be a club or society for you there. And if there's not, agenda going on, not only in Canada and Ontario, but certainly at Carleton as well. So really beginning to focus on sustainability and the kind of a lot of smart buildings right across campus as well. Worth just touching on this as well, that we take accessibility as a really important priority, making sure the campus is accessible for everyone and kind of addressing their needs as well. So that is a really strong piece at Carleton as well. Now, in terms of admissions, it's actually very straightforward. I think actually Rallam was touching on this earlier on, that applying to Canada is not actually that complicated. What we're looking at is essentially your grades. So through your OSSD qualification or your WIAC, studying at MCC, we're looking purely at your mock exam. We're not really interested in personal statements. We're not interested in SAT, ACT. If you have it, great, we'll look at it, but it's the core qualifications that we're looking at for entry, and when we're making that decision on providing entrance scholarships for you as well. I've kind of spoken about COVID all the way through here, just to give you some kind of background context, but I guess it's safe to say that we've had a great relationship with EB, Maple and the team. I'm delighted to see the first graduation see more of them. We take COVID seriously. Canada's taken it seriously. You will find that the campus has been adapted, it's been adjusted with all the necessary safety procedures in place. But do remember, if you need to start your studies online at home in Nigeria, that will be counted towards your post-study work visa, so you're not going to lose out on anything in the longer term as well. Okay, that's enough for me. EB knows I can talk all day, so I absolutely realise that enough is enough, and I look forward to the questions and answers at the end. So thanks very much for your time, and I hope that was a useful introduction to Carleton and Canada. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rainey, for that beautiful presentation. I'm sure we all know a lot about Carleton and Carleton University and the opportunities that Carleton University offers. Next, I will be making a presentation, but before I do that, I'd just like to remind us that if we have questions, we can note them down, and then we have a question and answer session at the end of the presentations and the virtual is going to be about our college, Maple Canadian College. Once again, I'm Abimbola Adekunle. I'm the administrative manager of Maple Canadian College. My background is in accounting and operations management. I have almost approximately 20 years work experience in both the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. I'm a chartered accountant, and I am the very first employee of Maple Canadian College. So I take a bow. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Virtual Fair. Who would have thought of this in 2019? That in 2020, we'll have to live in the confines of our safety, yet ensure that we don't miss out on our life and on the things that matter to us and on the lives of those who matter to us. Indeed, possibility is in the mind. It is possible to achieve your educational goals. We can make it possible in this Virtual Fair. Yes, we can. So let's continue. Maple Canadian College brings you the Ontario Secondary School Diploma in partnership with Rosedale Academy, situated in Ontario, Canada. To run the OSSD program outside of Canada, you actually need to partner with the school, and we've partnered with Rosedale Academy because of their continue for the long term. As Mr. Nazareth shared with us, the OSSD, Ontario Secondary School Diploma, is one of the top 5 high school diploma programs in the world. So a little about Maple Canadian College. We are a grade 11 and 12 university preparatory college, and we're here to bridge the gap between the WIEC syllabus and the Canadian curriculum. So most of our students go to Canada and they find out that they don't know some of the things that are being taught in class. And that's because they hadn't been taught those things in their secondary school in Nigeria. So we're here to bridge that gap so that our students will be on par with students from all over the world. With the OSSD, our students can apply to universities all over the world. So if you have the OSSD, you do not need A-levels. College vision is to become a model for innovative teaching and academic achievement across the world. Our mission statement is to provide a world-class Canadian education to high motivated students and set them on the best path to achieving their academic and professional goals in top choice global universities and colleges. Our values are academic achievement, professionalism, and integrity. Our motto is merit, creativity, and consistency. And our slogan, start here, go anywhere. What do you get from enrolling in Maple Canadian College? You get a lot. We have top-ranked partnerships with universities in Canada, such as Carleton University. We had Mr. Rennie speak to us earlier on about Carleton University. We also have the partnership with Rosedale Academy, a top partnership. Our program is a world-class program. As we mentioned earlier, it is rated top 5 among the world's high school programs. Mr. Carleton Nazareth from Rosedale Academy has shared about the blended learning we offer in our school. So it's not just classroom activities, we have videos, we have outside of classroom activities as well. We have global affiliate schools that we are in partnership with. We'll talk a bit more about that during this presentation. Outstanding expertise. Our teachers are actually Canadian trained, so the style of teaching in our classrooms is not the style you find in many Nigerian classes. It's very unique with a lot of examples, a lot of games to keep the students motivated and to make sure that they don't fall asleep in class, to keep them interested and engaged. So we have this outstanding expertise, especially because we have Mrs. Ebi Obaro as our president and founder. She has 15 years experience in the education industry with students moving from Nigeria to Canada to study as graduates, as undergraduates, and as graduates in master's programs. We offer admission guarantee for successful students. That's for students that meet the criteria, the requirements for the tertiary institutions they apply to. We are located at Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria. Our facilities, will be taking you on a tour of our facilities after this presentation. Our facilities are state-of-the-art. Our fees are very competitive. We'll talk a bit more about that later on. We offer visa processing services. So if you're a student in our school, you don't need to go elsewhere to apply for visa. We have our officials right here in the school who will handle your visa processing for you. We prepare our students for college. Many students come to our school because they want to get used to the Canadian environment, to the Canadian educational system, and to have that 1 year to mature. So we prepare our students for college and university. We have a fully funded scholarship for our students, so you can also apply for that once you apply to be a student in MCC. To be a student, what do you need? You need to be between the ages of 14 to 18 years. You need to complete our application form and submit it with our required documents. Those documents include your passport for sport, your transcript, to GSS 3, grade 11 to SS 2, and grade 12 to SS 3. We'll also need the results of any external exam you've taken before coming to MCC, such as your WAEC results, IGCSE, or NECO. We'll also need you to take our math entrance test. And the math entrance test is actually to judge your strength, to know how strong you are in math. Remember I said that we are here to bridge the gap between the WAEC syllabus and the Canadian curriculum. So the pass mark in our math test is 60%. If you score below 60%, that means you'll need to take our grade 11 math before you take the grade 12 math. And this is actually a very good foundation for students because they get used to the Canadian math curriculum. From your transcripts, we actually look at different things. We make sure that you're very strong in the subjects that you need to apply to university. So if you're applying for, say, physics in university, you're expected to have passed physics, things we look out for. So if you don't get up to 50% in your transcript, you'll need to either do our grade 11 physics or you'll need to do the diagnostic test. So let's move on to the courses we offer in MCC. As you can see, we offer a whole lot of courses. Under communication, we have English, visual arts, languages. Under sciences, we have the usual physics, chemistry, and biology. Under maths, we have functions and calculus and vectors. Under IT and statistics, we have computer science and data management. Under social sciences, we have economics, politics, world history, and we also have our individual growth plan, which is career planning. We also have is called community leadership. And community leadership is all about seeing how you can contribute to your society and help the less privileged. I'd like to share another screen with you just to let you know a bit more about the courses we offer. So when I say courses, I mean subjects. Just a minute. All right, so we have different streams in MCC. So if you're in the science stream, you'll be offering these courses that you can see right here. In the first semester, we have English, physics, and biology. And in the second semester, we'll have calculus and vectors, chemistry, and advanced functions. Like Mr. Nazareth mentioned, in each semester, you'll be writing 3.
Oh, I know muted.
Can everyone be on mute? Thank you very much. So in the first semester, the students will offer 3 courses and 1 optional course. And the same thing goes for the second semester, 3 courses and 1 optional course. So you can have 3 or 4 courses, no more than 4 courses. If you are in the engineering or architecture stream, you see the difference is that you will not be doing biology. Instead, you'll be doing economics. So we also have the computer stream. You can see the courses available to those who will be in that stream. We have the social science stream. If you're going to apply to study, for example, politics or history in the university, you'll be in this stream. And these are the courses that you'll be offering in MCC. We also have the arts stream just here. So you can see in the arts stream, you don't get to do functions or calculus and vectors. I'm sure many people will be happy about that. And we also have the maths and business stream. So in this stream, you have business leadership, you also have economics, and you also have history. All right, I'm sure some of us are wondering about our course codes. You can see in the description of our courses, we have some codes, and then we have the course names. So I'll just tell us a little about the course code. So we usually have 4 items. The first letter represents the subject. So M represents mathematics. If we had an A here, that would represent arts. HF also represents the course, what the course is all about. And HF here stands for, just a minute. So HF stands for functions. So that's maths advanced functions. 4 represents grade 12. If the number was 1, that would signify grade 9. So this signifies grade 12. And then the U, the last letter, this is the definition of the last letter. So U stands for university. We usually have M or U as the last letter. M stands for university or college, and U stands for university. So that explains the course code. In Maple Canadian College, we learn so many skills. We develop so many skills in our students. So some of these skills include global awareness, ethics, time management, critical thinking, complex problem solving, concept mapping, integrative communication, group collaboration, presentation skills, digital fluency, academic writing and reading, citation usage, individual and academic growth, efficient note-taking, and strategic prioritization. These are skills that will put our students on par with students from Canada, United Kingdom, United States, and from students all over the world. these are some of the activities we have in our classrooms. It's not just the teacher standing by the board and talking, and the students asking questions. It's very interactive. So we have interactive activities, virtual labs, videos and multimedia, simulations, textbooks, discussion forums, and the list goes on. For the year 2021, this is our academic calendar. So the academic year starts on Monday, August 31st, and the last day for school activities will be the 22nd of January. The week after that will be exam week from the 25th to the 29th, and you can see the holidays that we'll have in the first semester. We operate a 2-semester system. The second semester will start on February 8th, and the last day of classroom activities will be on the 18th of June, and the exam week will be the 21st to the 25th of June. And you can see the holidays that we have in the second semester. The Canadian grading system is very different from the WAEC grading system. So you can see here that A1, to get an A1, you'll actually need to get a minimum of 90%. In the WAEC syllabus, our program is rigorous and our program is very strong. It prepares you for international studies. We've partnered with so many universities. These are some of the universities that we've partnered with. You have Carleton University. We have Mr. Rennie from Carleton University here with us today. Lakehead University, Trent University, University of Alberta, that we are not in partnership with. Our students can apply to any university in the world. The last set of students got admission from Canadian and United Kingdom universities. And this is the list of schools that offered admission to our 2020 graduates. You can see University of Waterloo in Canada, University of Alberta, University of British Columbia, McMaster University, the University of Sheffield University, University of Toronto, and so many popular universities in Canada. We have Carleton University, University of Manitoba. You can look through this list to see if your choice university is there, but if it's not, that's because our 2020 students did not apply to that university. I'm sure they would have been offered admission if they did. And many of us are interested in scholarships. Yes, the universities you apply to will offer you scholarships based on your results. And these are the scholarships that were offered to our 2020 graduates. But in the meantime, we are going to take questions and answers. I'm sure many of us have questions and answers. So we'll have a question at a time. And we'll have one question and then it will be answered. I'll choose the panel member that will be answering the question. So can we take the first question, please? If you have a question, please send it by chat and then I'll read it out. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the beginning of secondary school diploma. All right, so this is not a foundation. This is a university pathway program. Maple Canadian College is a university pathway program school. So university pathway program is equivalent to the likes of A-levels and SAT. And if you have your A-levels or if you have your SAT, you can apply to universities in UK or US or Canada. You can also apply with your WAEC. But we are here to ensure that our students are on par with other students from other parts of the world. So what the program we run is the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. It's not A-levels, it's not SAT, it's not WAEC, it is the OSSD, Ontario Secondary School Diploma. So we are not a foundation, we are a school. So I'll move on to the next question. Facility or studying from home. So because the government of Nigeria has not announced the opening of schools, the first semester is likely to be done from home. So our students will be at home for first semester, most likely. If the government announces otherwise, then they will be in the classroom. By second semester, which starts in February, we're hoping that governments would have opened schools and will be back in the classrooms. And someone said, please kindly share the information on tuition at MCC and scholarships. And scholarship students receive to universities. So my last slide in my presentation was on scholarships from universities that were offered to our 2020 set of students. And we also have a scholarship, a fully funded scholarship for the successful students. Study in universities, we do not offer scholarships, but those universities offer scholarships based on your final results.
Bimbola, can you please share the slide on the scholarship and the total amount of scholarship our students received from the different universities they got accepted into? That's what he's talking about.
All right. All right, so you can see here the scholarships that were offered to our 2020 set of students from different universities, up to 12 universities. And the total is 205,500 Canadian dollars. Carleton University offered a total of 96,500 Canadian dollars. And we have Carleton University here today. So if you have questions for them, Mr. Rennie can take those questions. 58% of Let's take some more questions. I'll just stop sharing.
Hello.
Then let me see. Please, if you have any question, please type it out in the chat box. Please send from Kenny A. Please send the OSSD details for new students and fees. All right, we'll do that for you. What is the move from Judah Wegu? What is the move for students presently in SS3 who haven't written WAEC due to COVID? Mrs. Obaro, would you like to answer that question? Thank you.
Our students do not need to show a WAEC certificate to get into Maple Canadian College. With their SS1, SS2, and first term SS3 results, they are qualified to start the grade 12 program. So it's not a requirement. But if they have it, so be it. If they don't have it, it's not a showstopper. They can get in.
And black pair of pants for every day, and we also have our blazer for special occasions and assembly, and we have our sports jersey, we have our cardigan, we have a tie, and we also have white shirts. But for everyday school, it's t-shirt and black pants. Hijab is allowed, very much allowed. We do not discriminate. And then from Stephanie Young, is there another scholarship? Because there was a full scholarship being offered and it has closed. Is there? That is the only scholarship being offered by MCC at the moment. If another one is introduced, we will let you know. But as I said earlier on, the universities you apply to also offer scholarships based on your final results. So when you're in MCC, you need to actually do very well. If you get 90% and above, you'll be sure of being is a day and boarding school. So you can either be a day student or a boarding student. We have residences. Our residences are homes away from home. In each residence, the boys' residence and the girls' residence, we have from DOO, don't they need word for admissions to units in Canada? Don't they need WAEC for admission to university in Canada? Mrs. Obaro, please, can you answer that question for us?
With the OSSD certificate, our students don't need to show a WAEC certificate. This year, or this year, we had 3 kinds of students in our school. Students that came from SS2. She also had students with WAEC results. So they all did the same program. And Abimbola, I don't know if you showed the results of our students. Show that slide.
No, I didn't.
That tells you that students without WAEC certificate, students from SS2, and students from year 11 can get into our school. If you look at these results that Mrs. Abimbola has posted, you can see that our students did extremely well. In fact, the student from SS2 scored very highly. I was amazed at her results. She was very brilliant, intelligent, and she did very well. And the lowest you can see in the class is 73.8. It did not affect their final grade in any way because our teachers were on top of them. They did extremely well. They continued to teach them and interact with them, even though they were at home. And they made sure that their parents were involved, make sure the kids were in class. They submitted their assignments when due. And when they did their final exam at home, we were also there to monitor that there was no cheating. That is why you can see from this, that is why our students got lots of scholarships, because they did extremely well. So to answer your question, WAEC is not a requirement if you don't have it. It is good to have it, but if you don't worry about it.
All right. And then Deal again. Okay, we have Judah Magu. News is going round that WAEC might start in September. Will it be advisable to enroll in MCC and forget about WAEC? How soon can a person enter university after enrolling in MCC? Mrs. Obara, would you like to?
WAEC might be done in September. What we'll do during that period is to allow our students who want to take WAEC time off to go and take the exam. Our program is very flexible. So when they come back, we have still able to assist them to cover the gap. Another student had an accident and was away for a month, but he still graduated with the rest of the students. So if they have to go away for 2 or 3 weeks to go and take the WAEC exam, we will support them when they come back.
Thank you, Mr. Obara.
Yeah.
All right. From Dear O, is OSSD accepted by all Canadian universities? Mr. Nazareth, please would you take that for us?
Absolutely. It's accepted by all Canadian universities as well as universities worldwide. And you saw there from Mrs. Abimbola the list of universities that students have been admitted to and the amount of scholarship they've received. And just to touch off of Mrs. Abaro's point about the WAEC, every few months there's been a rumor that it's happening this month. Now it's happening this month, then it's happening this month. At MCC, you have some certainty. So you know for a fact that we're going to be running the OSSD like we did last year, starting September, and your students can enroll, and you know that they will be able to graduate in June without needing a massive exam such as that to be dependent on everything. So you have a decision to make, but the beauty of it all is that MCC is still flexible, that if you still want to do that WAEC, you can. So you can get that OSSD only and apply worldwide without the WAEC. But if you need the WAEC for whatever reason, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But at MCC, we offer you certainty in terms of when your studies will start in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nazareth. And another question from Esther Aderemi. You mentioned in your presentation that you admit age 14 to 18 years. 14 years is probably in year 9 in a British curriculum school, or SS1 in a Nigerian curriculum school. And what class will you admit such students into? What is the minimum age requirement for Canadian universities? Mrs. Obaro, please can you answer that for us?
Yes. Our school has, at the moment, only grades 11 and 12. So we can accept students who have finished SS1. In Canada, as long as you have met the admission requirements. So we don't have grade 10. So if your child is 14 years old and is in year 9, the Nigeria, we have a student had a student in MCC who was just 15 to 16 when she came in. So yeah, be rest assured that it doesn't matter what age your child is. At the end of obtaining the OSSD certificate, he or she can go to any university in Canada.
Thank you, Ma. From Testimony Olaifa, what are the expected grades for those coming with NECO or?
Well, what we do is we look at their transcripts from SS1, SS2, and SS3. Their WAEC certificate, like I said, if they have it, fine. If they don't have it, it does not matter. So we are not really going to base our admission based on their WAEC results. No. So as long as they pass our maths test, even if they don't pass the maths test, that helps us to know where to place them, whether to start from year 11. So if we look at your child's transcript and we find that your child is weak from SS1, SS2, SS3, is not very academically strong, we will recommend that he or she starts from grade 11, just so that at the end of the program, our results is anyway.
Thank you, Ma. From Stephanie Iang, if you want to apply to MCC to study the sciences, but you did not make your physics result, can you still apply? Mr. Nazareth, please, can you take that question?
Thanks very much. That's a great question. That really depends on what kind of sciences you're looking to study for, right? So if you wanted to do something in the health sciences and you've completed biology or chemistry, that's okay. We'll have you progress on to the grade 12 level. Engineering, where physics is required for admission. We're going to look at your courses. We're going to determine that you need physics, chemistry, as well as 2 math courses, and we'll ask you to take a grade 11 physics course so that you can qualify into entry into that grade 12 physics course as well. So just like the grade 11 math course that's being offered to students, we have grade 11 courses at MCC and all the course that you.
Thank you, Ms. Nazareth. That was a very good answer. And from VU Mated, and what's the boarding fee? So the boarding facility is located just about your email address. You can send it privately by chat, and we'll send that to you after the virtual fair. From Moffett, where is the location of the boarding school? Okay, I've just answered that. Some locations, same location with the classroom facilities, about a 3-minute walk away. Can we have virtual tour of the boarding facilities? We'll not be having a virtual tour. What happens when a student wants to go to another university outside Canada? Mrs. Obaro, please can you answer that question?
Yes. Not all our students this year will be going to Canada. In fact, out of the 24 students that graduated, only 1 is going to the in the world. The OSSD is accepted in the US, it's accepted in Australia, it's accepted anywhere in the world. So with that certificate, your child can go to any university in the world. And we can assist because we have partnership with universities in Australia, the US, UK, Belgium, many of them. Can everybody be muted, please, except Anna Bimbola? their WAEC or NECO results? Yes, we can. We can, when we see the results, we'll try. They might take a grade 11 course in the first semester and then take grade 12 in the next semester. We offer a maximum of 4 subjects per semester. Abimbola, can you all hear me? Hello?
Perfect. The volume's good.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Now, we offer a maximum of 4 subjects per semester. The way it works is this. If you are weak in maths, maybe you have a problem, history, English, but grade 11 maths to cover up that weakness. And in the second semester, and at the end of that semester, they take the final exam. They finish it. And then the second semester, you will take grade 12 maths and 3 other grade 12 subjects. Universities are looking for a minimum of 5 or 6 grade 12 subjects, depending on the university. So it's possible for us to cover that weakness with grade 11 and then move on to the second semester and take grade 12 courses.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Obaro. We'll continue with the questions. Subject in their WAEC or NECO. Mrs. Obaro, have you taken that question already?
Yes, I have.
All right. The next one from Olumu Tiba. We'll go through the questions quickly. I will not be taking any more after the last one we currently have. If you have further questions, please send them by private chat because the time is fast spent. So from Juliana Akinyemi.
I think we should take all the questions, please.
All right, all right. So from Judah Nwego, after the completion of the 2 semesters, how soon can a student resume in the tertiary institution? How soon can a student resume in the tertiary institution? So we have different sessions. You can start in the September session or you can start in the February session. If you start in September, you resume school the following year, September. And if you start in February, then you resume in university in the following year. Mrs. Obaro, is it May they resume?
No, our program in September and end in June. So university is September the following year.
All right, thank you for that. And someone else asked, Olaolu Wayemika, for students who want to write the SAT and enroll in MCC, will they also be able to have time off to write the SAT? Mrs. Obaro, please.
Yes, they can. They'll have time off.
Next question from Austin Osazwa. What options do you have for students that have been homeschooled?
So what kind of results do they have? Was it issued to them by their parents or what? Or is it from a school?
Yeah, so they'll probably register privately for external exams, but they'll not attend physical classes with other students. They'll just get maybe a lesson teacher to teach them at home, and they'll follow a particular syllabus, whether it's the British syllabus or the Nigerian syllabus.
I think Rosedale Academy should answer that question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry if I came in and out. I'm having some serious internet issues, but I'm glad I'm showing up at the right time. In terms of that question, students attend exams. So what you would have to do as a parent is get in touch with MCC, provide the results of the external examination that you've taken to validate what your child has learned, and we will review that, and we will be able to identify exactly what grade level they're in and what courses they need to take. You may or may not be asked to take an admission test for some of those courses, just to verify that you've covered all the content. So the more information you provide to MCC, the easier it is for us to assess at Rosedale. And but to answer your question very simply, yes, MCC will.
Next question from Chioma. Do you prepare the students for IELTS? Mrs. Obaro, please.
Yes, we do. I remember our last set of students to the IELTS exam. We had to schedule time for them to prepare for the exam, and I'm very, very, very proud to say that they did exceedingly well.
I'd like to remind everyone that we will send our fees to you if you send us your email address. You can send it privately. We'll send it before the end of today. Next question, can we have a look at the boys' hostel? So the boys' hostel will not be going to the boys' hostel today because due to the pandemic, we've started using the boys' hostel for other things. So we will not be having a look at the boys' hostel today, but the boys' hostel is very similar to the girls' hostel. You had a view of that. So you can just imagine we had about double the number of boys, double the number of girls in the boys' hostel. So you can just imagine times 2 of that.
If you
size.
send us your email address, we will send you an email that has the picture of the boys' hostel. Send it to you by email. It's
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, the person that asked that question should please send her his or her email address so we can send a picture of the boys' hostel. Or picture.
Can I just add something regarding that tour? And so I've worked at a number of universities, as well as I've been a student at Canadian universities, and the facility that you're seeing there, that residence facility, is very, very state of the art and very, very clean and well kept. And you can see from the student there, Ms. Fade, she's extremely happy to represent her school, and also, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nazareth. We have, I think this is the last question. If your university from Olaoluwayimika, if your university requires a minimum of 5 courses for admission, how will you take that extra 1 course if you can only make a maximum of 4? If you can only take a maximum of 4 courses per semester? Will the 5th course be taken in the 2nd semester, and will just 1 semester be enough to take this 5th course? Mr. Nazareth, please can you answer that question?
So as pointed out, there's 2 semesters, and as pointed out, Mrs. Obaro, the semester load is 4 courses per semester. You bring up a very interesting point there, where you're saying requires a minimum of 5 courses for admission. The key word there is minimum. That's the minimum that they use to assess. It's not a good strategy to take the minimum, especially if you don't achieve well in one of the courses. So we always recommend students, if they have their WIAC, they need to take at least 6, because first and foremost, all Canadian universities assess your top 6. Some colleges will assess less than 6. But the assessment from, if you're coming from IGCSE or you haven't graduated yet, you're going to do 7. So out of those 7 courses, they're taking your average, and the university will be looking at your top 6. In the case of your institution, I'm not sure which one that is. If you're saying it's a minimum of 5, they will take the average of your top 5. So we're going to create a holistic schedule where you're doing in the second semester. So I don't suspect you'd be taking only a 5th course. If that's, then we would find a way to make it. Once again, we need a bit more information, so do your file. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nazareth.
Yeah, I think we university.
Is in the first semester, and we end the application process in the second semester. So when we start the application process, we apply with the 3 or 4 courses taken in the first semester. We apply with the first 3 or 4 courses taken in the first semester, and then in the second semester, we give them the results for the courses taken in the second semester. So after the first semester, what you get is the conditional offer. And that's what you see.
In addition to what Mrs. Abibola had just said, Canadian universities will accept first semester grades. So first, from the different universities for our students. And by, I think by end of April, we started applying for study permits for our students with those conditional offers. We did not have to wait till the end of the semester in June to start applying for visa. We started on time, and at the end of June, when the final results came out, our students maintained their top grades, and then we send the results to the universities that they apply to, and they now give them unconditional offer. Unconditional means you've met all the requirements and your admission is finalized. If not for the COVID, by now our students' visas would have been out. Maple Canadian College is actually owned by 4 certified Canadian immigration consultants, trained in Canada and regulated, which means that we are authorized to represent foreign nationals anywhere in the world to apply for any kind of visa to Canada, be it a study permit, visitor's visa for parents, family members, and even permanent resident visa for our child goes through MCC. Will help with the admission processing, will help with submitting their visa application to any part of the world. And if they are in Canada, we also help them with study permit extension, post-graduation work permit, and then permanent resident visa. We apply for parents as when their children are traveling, to help them settle down. But you cannot stay for more than 6 months maximum. After 6 months, you have to step out.
We need to go on to the next item on the program. So next question from testimonial life. If you're older than 18, can you also enroll in MCC? Mrs. Obaro, over to you.
Well, as much as possible, we want to make sure that the kids are within the same age bracket. At the oldest, to know when this child will turn 19. If the child is eight, I don't think we should do that. It's not the right fit. But if that child has a work result, then we can or even university.
Thank you, Mr. Barr. So this will be the last question. Can you process parents' visas with the child's visa, since they may want to go with the child to settle in?
The answer to that is yes.
Thank you very much. So for questions, further questions, please send your questions to hello@maplecc.ca. That's hello, HELLO, all in lowercase, at maplecc.ca. We'll send you our fees, we'll send you pictures and any other thing you desire. And so now we've talked a lot about Maple Canadian College and what we offer, and we've seen our recipe. Students in our 2020-2021 school year. And I'm pleased to let you know that if you pick up an application form today, you get 50% discount. The price is 10,000 Naira. If you apply today, 50% discount, we'll be giving that to you at 5,000 Naira. So please apply today. We're waiting for you. Our marketing manager is on standby to receive applications. Please send your email to hello@maplecc.ca and she'll forward the application form to you. Payments can be made when you are submitting the application form. For those who pick up application forms today, it will be sold to you at 5,000 Naira only. And so, I'm sure, okay, I can see lots of chats coming in with email addresses. Thank you for that. That is great. Yes, you can also apply online on our website. And so I think we'll continue this offline. Mrs. Obaro, please, yes. Can we have a few final words from you?
Yeah, I would really encourage all the parents who are thinking of sending their children to go and study in Canada to consider the grade 12 program. We've been in this business for 19 years, and we have seen a lot of our Nigerian students fail in university if they don't do the grade 12 first. That is the reason why we decided to set up Maple Canadian College, to ensure that our students succeed in university. It can be very, very frustrating if you spend so much money and you send a child to Canada to university, even though they have the WAEC result, and then your child calls you and says, "Daddy, I don't understand what they are saying. I find the math difficult. I can't cope with engineering." It's very, very frustrating. And before you know what is happening, this child is not talking to you anymore, is no longer within reach. So to avoid that from happening, especially now, the grade 12 program is your best option. It's way cheaper than sending your children straight to Canada to do grade 12. Our tuition is about 50% of what it will cost if you send your child to a private high school in Canada. You can save all that money. And because they are in Nigeria, they feel at home, and they are being taught by Nigerian teachers that have been trained. Our students have done very well because of that. They and like I said, we've been in this business 95%. That was amazing. And I spoke to one other parent who sent one of his daughters to Canada to do grade 12. She said, you know, my daughter in Canada didn't perform this well. And I said, so why do you think that this one that passed through grade 12 here is doing better? She said it's because she's at home. She feels comfortable. She doesn't feel out of place. Can you imagine a 14-year-old child being in a Canadian school and is the only Black person in the classroom? It can be very overwhelming. So I believe that doing the grade 12 program here is going to prepare your child not only academically, we also talk about Canadian culture. They will learn and understand how the subjects are taught, especially English. English was the most difficult subject that our students did. You won't believe it. English was tough, but they passed it. And some of them just could not understand why English and literature were mixed together. That's just the way it is done. At the end of that program, they were able to write. They were able to present their ideas in a way that got them good marks. They could understand what plagiarism is all about, how to cite other people's work, which is very, very important in university. That can fetch you a fail mark and even expulsion if you don't do that. So it was a wonderful experience for our students. And Fadirera that you saw was the best graduating student. She had over 90% average, and she got into University of Waterloo. Can you imagine that?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Obara. So we've come to the end of our fair for today. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We hope to see you very soon. We hope to see your children very soon, because we are sure that you will be enrolling with us. We have so many people that came to us and said, oh, if only I had known before I paid to a grade 12 school in Canada, I would have come to your school. So you have this opportunity right here in Lagos, Nigeria. We have boarding facilities for those who live outside of Lagos. So we'll be expecting you to pick up your application forms in the next few days. Thank you very much once again, and God bless. Okay, please.